Okay. Well, first off, good afternoon. After the press conference that I held yesterday, I wanted you to know that the law enforcement, and namely our sheriff's office, obtained some information that an adult female was with Callahan and the two minor children at some point, I think on Wednesday, in Jackson, Mississippi, in a motel. So obviously we passed that information along to our partners in Jackson and gave them that information. They followed that up. They went to the motel. They found Victoria Cox, age 33, I believe. She was detained by them, and they began their investigation of her. Also, late yesterday evening, Tenchville Parish Sheriff's Office had detectives in Jackson, Mississippi. We did interview Callahan pretty extensively. He did agree to talk and did talk with us. So we got a complete statement from him late yesterday. Obviously, once that was done, we turned our attention, made it a priority to learn more about what role Victoria Cox may have played in this particular ordeal. That is, when did she and Callahan meet up? Where did they meet up? What did she witness? What did she do? And so those are the things that obviously we need to determine. And only thing I can tell you as it relates to that is that we have not finished our questioning of her. When we do finish our questioning of her, we may be in a position to give you more information about what potential charges she could be facing by us. Also, I'm sure we got a lot of questions, but I'm sure you know that anytime you have a young victim, such as a 6-year-old, that requires specialized skill and training to be able to interview those and to be able to interrogate and get statements from them. So we have scheduled a time and a place for that interview to take place. It will be soon. I'm not going to give the date or the location for that, but just know that that's in the works, that we will have an extensive interview of our 6-year-old victim. Obviously, we're waiting on autopsy reports. It will be one will be in Jackson, Mississippi, and one will also be in Tenchville Parish. At this time, the Tenchville Parish Sheriff's Office is obtaining warrants on Callahan for first-degree murder of Callie Burnett, 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, and armed robbery. That occurred all in Tenchville Parish. Mississippi has indicated that they will charge him as well with the murder of Aaron Burnett, age 4. Victoria Cox, at this time, I think either has or will be charged by Jackson, Mississippi. I don't have the particulars on what they plan on charging her with. I do know that once we finish questioning her, we will be placing some charges on her as well. But the exact nature of those charges or what they will be at this time is not yet to be disclosed. So another thing I would like to say, I don't mind y'all trying to get follow-up information. You have a right to do it. The public has a right to do it. But we're not going to do this piecemeal. We will only give these kind of updates when there's meaningful information to pass along. So with that, if you have a few questions that I may can answer, I'll certainly try to do that. Yes.
Sheriff, I know there were multiple agencies involved in this, but who is taking the lead in this investigation? Is it the Tenchville Parish Sheriff's Office, Jackson PD, FBI? Who's leading this investigation?
You left out one, all of the above, right? And it could be that it's going to be all of the above. You could have a situation where our DA's office takes over and takes the lead on what happened in Tenchville Parish, where Jackson, Mississippi takes over what happened there, and you could simultaneously have the feds come in and exercise their jurisdiction as well. And I don't think those answers have been worked out yet.
Sheriff,
yes.
You said your investigators had the chance to actually speak to Callahan, to sit down with him. Did you get any kind of more information on what his potential motives could have been for committing this heinous crime?
No. As far as motives, no, I don't think we learned any motives for it. The only thing I will say at this time is even though we had an extremely strong case, about this time yesterday, we have a much stronger case today because we spoke to him. That's about all I can comment on. But as far as a motive, no, I don't think he did, and I don't think he possibly could, and I don't think any of us can ever determine what a motive for this particular type of crime would be.
What about the role of human trafficking?
At this time, I have no information that human trafficking played a part in this. I know that was some speculation yesterday by the Jackson Police Department, maybe coming through their assistant chief, but nothing has been shown to me to substantiate that. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm not in a position to say that I know anything about that.
Do you have any suspects who are accomplices here?
I'm sorry?
Any other suspects from here?
I can say at this time, we have not, we're not focused on anybody else as it relates to the crimes that happened in Tangipahoa Parish, other than the two names that you have before you, Victoria Cox and Daniel Callahan.
Sheriff, you mentioned armed robbery. Can you go into details what that was about?
Well, we know that he took some personal items from the home and from the person that he killed. We do know that he would have been armed with a dangerous weapon, and so the elements would fit.
You also mentioned Victoria Cox was in a motel on Wednesday. Can you kind of describe the timeline as far as when he abducted the girls and then when the mom was killed?
This is a great question. I can't give you any certainty of when it was. We believe it was certainly before yesterday, and we don't think it all occurred yesterday. We believe it probably occurred sometime on Wednesday. And again, that's part of the reason of wanting to question, her, to see what she has to say about giving us a timeline. We do have a timeline from him, and we want to get both of them and see if they match.
Sheriff, was a missing persons report filed on Wednesday night for the
Yes.
mom and for the kids?
Yes.
And can you provide some more context around that so that deputies go out there and check the home?
I don't know that. I could easily find that out. I know that we took the missing persons report, and I know at that time that her being Callie, we're talking about Callie's parents, we know that they were concerned, but they were not alarmed, as in obviously what happened. They did not expect that to have happened. They just wanted to report to us that they had not seen her, and that was a little unusual. And so we did take the missing persons report. I don't know what time it was, but it was late in the evening on Wednesday. Yes.
Sheriff, as for that Amber Alert that came out delayed, the LSP came out and gave a timeline, and in that timeline, they said there was an incomplete Amber Alert application from the sheriff's office here. Kind of give me some in-depth from your side on just what happened on that timeline and what y'all learned more now that it's been a day, and what kind of went wrong with this Amber Alert.
Well, I told you yesterday that it's something that needs to be looked into, and it has to be looked into, and it will be looked into. To say that we provide an incomplete form, I don't think that's an accurate portrayal. I don't want to get in a tit for tat with our partners who we work closely with. But if you look at the form, all of the information that's asked for is contained on there. And I know that we reached out and asked a couple times what's taking so long. They never told us there's incomplete or missing information. That's not what was given to us. They said they were doing everything they could to move as quickly as they could. So, yes.
I know you say Callahan murdered her. Do you know if Callahan confessed as of now?
What I'm prepared to say is our case is stronger after interviewing him than before.
Sheriff, where will
Yes.
these suspects be kept? Are they going to be in Rankin County, or exactly?
That's a really good question. So let me back up and say this, because the easiest way to answer the question as it relates to Victoria Cox, unless we show that she committed a crime in Tangipahoa Parish, then we wouldn't have a right to hold her anyhow, right? So she's going to, and the fact that they've indicated that they are going to charge her, so they will keep her. As it relates to Callahan, we know that both Mississippi and Louisiana are going to charge her. So, how does that work? He has to be, extradited here, but at the same time, they have a right to finish their charge before they do that. So this is going to take, significant coordination between our prosecutor's office and the prosecutor's office in Mississippi.
Sheriff, can you give any more information on the relationship between Callahan and Cox? Did Cox have any ties to Tangipahoa Parish? Was she known to TPSO?
I don't know if she was known to TPSO. I don't think she has an extensive history. I say that. I could be wrong, but I don't think she does. But yes, she is from the Tangipahoa Parish area. The relationship there, I believe that she and Callahan have been intimately involved recently.
And do you know whether TPSO had any history going to this home, responding to calls at this home?
I don't know that. I don't know that. We can run a check and see, but nothing stands out as calls coming from there before.
Sure. Been able to identify Callahan's history with TPSO, his criminal record?
Callahan has an extensive criminal history, primarily for burglaries, some aggravated burglaries, some drug charges, some, I think, probation parole violations. I mean, he was certainly known to us. He was a suspect in some burglaries recently. This is obviously before the homicides that he committed, and we've even questioned him about those as well. So he was someone that was on our radar that we had dealt with before.
We're also hearing about something that happened recently where a shed was set on fire. We're talking to neighbors who said that Callahan was responsible for that. Can you confirm those details and talk about that a little?
I can't confirm those details. I know that one of my detectives in passing said that he may be responsible for an arson, which would fit that definition, but as far as whether or not that would be the shed you're talking about, whether it matches the time and date, the location, I mean, I would not know that at this point in time. It's certainly important to know, but what we're focusing on right now, is mostly trying to close out as best we can these homicides and aggravated kidnappings.
And considering all you just said about Callahan, is this a person that should have been on the street?
Well, it's a person, obviously you don't want on the street, but now, that will take time as well to go back and see. I don't know the last time he was in jail. I don't know when he got out. I know that he has been committed to the Department of Corrections before, but I don't know, did he get out early? Did he do a full sentence? I mean, I don't know any of those things at this time, but it would be hard to look into.
Sheriff, Jackson PD said they were able to ping the vehicle using license plate readers in Mississippi. Does Louisiana have the same technology?
So we do have the same, I can't say the same technology because I don't know what they have. We have license plate readers. I can tell you that we ran our own license plate readers as well. We had them run in Mississippi. We requested that they ran them. And we were aware that vehicle being in the area of Byram in Jackson, Mississippi. We knew that, yesterday.
Has there been any update on how Ms. Burnett died? What the cause of death was?
No, there's been no, it's one of those things, there's no question how she died to law enforcement if you were there, if you saw it, or if you were the coroner's office, but we are going to wait for the autopsy report to come back. I can tell you it was very brutal.
Considering these crimes against Mr. Callahan, do you think the DA in Jackson will seek or should seek the death penalty in this case?
Well, having been a prosecutor before, that decision rests with the prosecutor's office, but you asked me what I thought. What I think, based on all the evidence we have to date, and we're still gathering more, and what I think in relation to the statement that he gave yesterday, and you add everything up, that if you believe in the death penalty and you're a supporter of the death penalty, I don't know how you can believe that this is not an appropriate case to charge someone and try to get the death penalty.
And I have to ask, have you spoken to the grandparents since yesterday? What is the family saying? How is the family feeling right now?
I have not spoken to them since yesterday. I did speak to them on yesterday. But, I can assure you they're overwhelmed. I mean, obviously they're grief-stricken. They have a lot on their plate to digest. And even though they're grieving the loss of their daughter and the loss of their granddaughter, they're also, I think, trying to come to terms and make adaptations or whatever you have to do to raise, another grandchild. And to not just raise her, but to, I think, help make sure she gets all the services and, the counseling and support that she possibly can. So I cannot imagine what all they're going through at this time.
And I have to go back to the Amber Alert. I mean, do you think if that Amber Alert was issued earlier, there could have been a different outcome? I mean, we're talking about 3 hours from when the application was submitted to when the Amber Alert went out.
Right. That is correct. Your timeline is correct. I would say that I don't know. Certainly you always want to go out as soon as possible, but I don't know from a time standpoint what time they actually located Callahan yesterday. I mean, I don't know the exact time of that, but it certainly, in hindsight, we wished it had gone out sooner. That's the only thing I can say.
Do you have any more details?
If I did, I never like talking about injuries to victims in general. When you're talking about injuries to a 6-year-old, it just makes it even more problematic to try to delve off into that. I would say this: I haven't been made aware of what I would say is significant physical injury like broken bones and things like that. But any other thing that she could be dealing with, I just wouldn't want to comment on.
And for clarity purposes, can you confirm the age of the younger child? Was she 3? Was she 4? We were hearing like a birthday in October.
No, I can't confirm. I mean, it would take me probably a matter of moments to give you a date of birth, and then we could actually, figure it out. But I can't tell you here, was she 3 or was she 4?
And another question, just for clarity, Callahan was not the father of either of these 2 children? So
it's our understanding that he was not the father. Nobody believed him, in the family to be the father. DNA obviously hasn't been done yet, right? But we don't believe he was the father. No one believes he was the father of these 2 children.
And I have to ask, I know it's still early in the investigation, but do we know what what kind of weapon was used on Ms. Burnett? Was it a gun used? Was it a blunt force object? I mean, do you know at this point?
I do know what kind it was, and I'm gonna wait till the autopsy comes out, and then we will go from there. I do know what kind it was. It was a dangerous weapon, I will tell you that. And not trying to be cute, but there's obviously a couple of different kinds. You have guns and you have knives. So
Jeff, do you know if there's been communication between DA's office here and the DA's office in Jackson as to how they're gonna work out this jurisdiction? Have those talks begun?
the only thing I know is that the DA's office has been in contact with our office, and they are wanting, to proceed. Our DA's office is wanting to proceed here. They are well aware that if Jackson, wants to proceed there, obviously they can as well. So I can't say if they've spoken for sure. Okay, thank you all very much.